So today we shall solve some of the questions based on the chapter Semiconductor Electronic Devices. So first question, when using a triode as an amplifier, the electrons are emitted by. So they have given four options: grid and collected by cathode only, cathode and collected by anode only, anode and collected by cathode only, anode and collected by the grid and by cathode. So four options they have given. Among four options, the right answer is this one. Second one, for amplification by a triode, the signal to be amplified is given to cathode, grid, the glass envelope, anode. For second one, the amplifying action of a triode is based on the fact that small change in grid voltage, it causes a large change in plate current. So the AC input signal which is to be amplified is superimposed on the grid plate potential. So when we observe all the four options, the right answer is this one, the grid. Third one, for an electronic valve, the plate current I and plate voltage V in the space charge limited region are related as I is proportional to V raised to 3 by 2, I is proportional to V raised to 2 by 3, I is proportional to V and I is proportional to V square anta kottidare. So we know according to Thales law, so we are writing this one as I is equal to K into V raised to 3 by 2. So therefore, I is directly proportional to V raised to 3 by 2. Therefore, 8th one is the right answer. Fourth one, when a triode is used as an amplifier, the phase difference between input and input signal voltage and output is 0, pi by 2 and pi by 4. The voltage gain of an amplifier, so that is given by output voltage divided by input voltage. The negative sign indicates the output voltage differs in the phase from the input voltage by an angle of 180 degrees. So therefore, this holds for pure resistive load. So when we observe all the four options, this one is the right answer. Fifth one, choose the only false statement from the following. They have given first one, in conductors, the valency and conduction band overlap. Second one, substances with energy gap of order of 10 electron volt are insulators. Third one, the resistivity of a semiconductor increases with increase in temperature. Fourth one, the conductivity of a semiconductor increases with increase in temperature. So when we observe all the four options, third one is the right answer. The resistivity of a semiconductor increases with increase in temperature. Sixth one, carbon, silicon, germanium atom have 4 valence electrons. Their valency and conduction band are separated by energy band represented by Eg of carbon and energy of silicon and germanium they have given. Which one of the following relationship is true? And 4 options they have given. So here band gap of carbon is 5.5 it is. So that is 5.5 electron volt, while that of for silicon it is 1.1 electron volt. Therefore, energy gap of for carbon that is greater than when we compare with the silicon. So therefore, 8th one is the right answer. 7th one, in semiconductor at a room temperature, 4 options they have given. Valency band is partially empty and conduction band is partially filled. Second one, valency band is completely filled and conduction band is partially filled. Third one, valency band is completely filled. Fourth one, conduction band is completely empty. So here in semiconductor at a room temperature, the electrons get enough energy so that they are able to overcome the forbidden gas. Thus, at room temperature, the valency band is partially empty and conduction band is partially filled. Conduction band in semiconductor is completely empty only at 0 Kelvin. Therefore, for 7th one, 8th one is the right answer. 8th one, carbon and silicon both have same lattice structure having 4 bonding electrons in each. However, carbon is insulator, whereas silicon is intrinsic semiconductor. That is because, so they have given 4 options. In case of carbon, valence band is not completely filled at absolute 0 temperature. Second one, in case of carbon, the conduction band is partially filled even at absolute 0 temperature. Third one, the 4 bonding electron in each case of carbon lies in the second orbit, whereas in case of silicon, they lie in the third. Fourth one, the 4 bonding electron in case of carbon lie in the third orbit, whereas for silicon, they lie in the fourth orbit. Here for 8th one, electronic configuration of carbon, we are writing that one as 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. The electronic configuration of silicon, so that is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p2. So the 4 bonding electron of carbon and silicon, they lie in second and third orbit. Therefore, for 8th one, each one is the right answer. 9th one, at absolute 0, silicon acts as a, so semiconductor are the insulator at a room temperature. So for 9th one, 8th one is the right answer. 10th one, for a p-type semiconductor, which of the following statements is true they have given? So first option they have given electrons are majority carriers and pentavalent atoms are the dopants. Second option they have given electrons are majority carrier and trivalent atoms are the dopants. Third one, holes as the majority carrier and trivalent atoms are the dopants. Fourth one, holes as the majority carriers and pentavalent atoms are the dopants they have given. So in p-type semiconductor, holes are the majority charge carriers and trivalent atoms are the dopants, such as aluminum and gallium. Therefore, for 10th one, C one is the right answer. 11th one, in a n-type semiconductor, which of the following statement is true? First one, holes are majority carriers and pentavalent atoms are dopant. Second one, holes are minority carriers and trivalent atoms are dopant. Third one, electrons are the majority carriers and trivalent atoms are dopant. Fourth one, electrons are majority carriers and pentavalent atoms are dopant. So in n-type semiconductor, electrons are the majority carriers and holes are the minority carriers. Pentavalent atoms are the dopant. Therefore, for 11th one, 8th one option is the right one. 12th one, if a small amount of antimony is added to germanium crystal, so which of the following is right? So when a small amount of antimony and the pentavalent is added to germanium and the trivalent impurity is, so the crystal becomes n-type. So in n-type semiconductor, electrons are the majority charge carriers and holes are the minority charge carriers. So for 12th one, when you observe all the four options, C one is the right answer. That is, there will be more free electrons than the holes in the semiconductor. 13th one, pure silicon at 500 Kelvin has an equal number of electrons and holes. Concentration of 1.5 into 10 to the power of 16 per meter cube doping by an indium increases to 4.5 into 10 to the power of 22 per meter cube. The doped semiconductor is of p-type having electron concentration Ne is equal to 5 into 10 to the power of 9. N-type with electron concentration Ne is equal to 5 into 10 to the power of 22. Third one, p-type with electron concentration Ne is equal to 2.5 into 10 to the power of 10. Fourth one, n-type with electron concentration Ne is equal to 2.5 into 10 to the power of 23. So here p-type semiconductor is obtained when silicon and germanium is doped with the trivalent impurity. So here for 13th one, so that is Ni is equal to 1.5 into 10 to the power of 16 per meter cube it is, and number of holes is 4.5 into 10 to the power of 22 per meter cube it is. So here formula we are having Ne into NH is equal to Ni square, or Ne is equal to Ni square divided by NH. So that's equal to 1.5 into 10 to the power of 16 divided by 4.5 into 10 to the power of 22. So after simplification, we are getting 5 into 10 to the power of 9 per meter cube. Therefore, for 13th one, 8th one is the right answer. 14th one. Which one of the following statement is false they have given? So pure silicon doped with trivalent impurity gives a p-type semiconductor. Second one, majority carriers in n-type semiconductor are holes. Third one, minority carriers in p-type are electrons. Fourth one, resistance of intrinsic semiconductor decreases with increasing temperature. Here in n-type semiconductor, electrons are the majority carriers and holes are the minority carriers. So therefore, this one is the right answer. 15th one, in the energy band diagram of material, the open circles and filled circles denotes holes and electrons. The material is an insulator, metal, n-type semiconductor and p-type semiconductor. So here when we observe this, so that is, this is p-type semiconductor. So this one is the right answer. So in p-type semiconductor, the majority carriers of current are protons, electrons, holes and neutrons. So here for 16th one, 6th one is the right one. 17th one, which of the following when added an impurity into a silicon produce n-type semiconductor? B, P, Al and Mg they have given. So here phosphorus is pentavalent. Therefore, this one is the right answer. P is nothing but that is phosphorus. 18th one, to obtain p-type germanium semiconductor, it must be doped with indium, phosphorus, arsenic and antimony. So in p-type germanium semiconductor, it must be doped with a trivalent impurity atom. Since indium is a third group member, therefore germanium must be doped in indium. Therefore, 8th one is the right answer for 18th one. Next, 19th one. When arsenic is added as an impurity to silicon, the resulting material is N-type semiconductor, first one N-type conductor, N-type semiconductor, P-type semiconductor, none of these. So for 19th one, arsenic is pentavalent. Therefore, when added with silicon, it leaves one electron as a free electron. In this case, the conduction of electricity is due to motion of the electron. So resulting material is N-type semiconductor. Therefore, B one is the right answer. 20th, when N-type semiconductor is heated, 4 options they have given. Number of electron increases while that of hole decreases. Second one, number of hole increases while that of electron decreases. Third one, number of electrons and holes remain same. Fourth one, number of electrons and holes increases equally. So due to heating, free electrons is produced, then simultaneously hole is also produced. Therefore, for 21, D1 is the right answer. 21th, the increase in width of the depletion region in PN junction is due to forward bias, reverse bias only, both forward and reverse bias. Fourth one, increase in forward current. So width of the depletion layer increases in reverse bias. Therefore, for 21, B1 is the right answer. 22, the barrier potential of PN junction depends on type of semiconductor material, amount of doping, temperature. They have given 3 factors. Which of the following is correct? They have given. The barrier potential depends on the type of semiconductor. That is for silicon, valence bond is 0.7, and for germanium that is 0.3 volt. Amount of doping and also on the temperature. Therefore, this one is the right answer. So 23rd, in a unbiased PN junction hole diffuse from P region to N region because of, so first option they have given attraction of free electrons of N region. Second one, the higher hole concentration in P region than that in N region. Third one, higher concentration of electron in N region than that in P region. Fourth one, potential difference across the PN junction. So when we observe all the 4 options, the higher hole concentration is in P region than that in N region. Therefore, for 23rd one, so B1 is the right answer. 24th, in PN junction, first option, high potential at N side and low potential at P side. Second one, high potential at P side and low potential at N side. Third one, P and N both are at same potential. Fourth one, undetermined. So when we observe all the 4 options for 24th one, 8th one is the right answer. That is high potential at N side and low potential at P side. 25th, depletion layer consists of mobile ions, protons, electrons, and immobile ions. So here, depletion layer consists of immobile ions. 26th, the depletion layer in PN junction region is caused by drift of holes, diffusion of charge carriers, migration of impurity ions, drift of electrons. Depletion layer in PN junction region is caused by diffusion of charge carriers. Therefore, this one is the right answer. 27th, in PN junction diode, change in temperature due to heating affects only reverse resistance, affects only forward resistance, does not affect resistance of PN junction, affects the overall VI characteristics of PN junction. So due to heating, number of electron hole pairs will increase, so overall resistance of diode will change, due to which forward biasing and reverse biasing both are charged. So therefore, this one is the right answer. So 28th, which of the following represent forward diode and potidara? So 4 symbols they have given. Among them, so a diode is said to be a forward bias if P side is at higher potential than the N side of PN junction. Therefore, this one is the right answer. Twenty-ninth, the given circuit has two idle diodes connected as shown in the circuit. The current flowing through the resistance R1 will be. So here the diode D1 is reverse bias, so it will block the current, and diode D2 is forward bias, so it will pass the current. Hence equivalent circuit becomes, that is already shown, current in the circuit is equal to current flowing through the resistance, that is calculated as 10 divided by 2 plus of 2 is equal to 2.5 ampere. Therefore, for 29th one, this one is the right answer. 30th one. Consider the junction diode as ideal. The value of current flowing through AB is. 4 options they have given. So for that, IAB is given by the formula VA minus of BB divided by RAB. So that is equal to 4B minus of 6V divided by 1 kilo ohm. So that is 10 divided by 1000 equal to 10 to the power of minus 2. So this one is the right answer. 31. So in the given figure, a diode D is connected to an external resistance R is equal to 100 ohm and EMF of 3.5 volts. If the barrier potential developed across the diode is 0.5 volts, current in the circuit will be 20, 35, 30 and 40 they have given. So here 31th. Potential difference across the resistance is given by V is equal to 3.5 volt minus of 0.5 volt. Difference we are getting 3 volt. According to Ohm's law, I is equal to V by R. So that is 3V divided by 100 ohm equal to 3 into 10 to the power of minus 2 ampere. So that is 30 into 10 to the power of minus 2 ampere, or you can write this one as 30 milliampere. For 31st one, this one is the right answer. 32th, in PN junction, a square input signal of 10 volt is applied. Then the output across RL will be. So diode is forward bias for positive voltage, therefore voltage is greater than 0. Output across RL is shown by using the figure like this. So this is 5 volt. Therefore, this one is the right answer. 33. Two identical diodes are connected to a battery as shown in the diagram. Current supplied by the battery is. For 33, so that is given by I is equal to 5 volt divided by 10 is equal to half. That is nothing but 0.5 ampere. For 33, this one is the right answer. 34. In forward biasing of PN junction, the positive terminal of a battery is connected to P side and depletion region becomes thick. Second one, the positive terminal of the battery is connected to N side and depletion region becomes thin. Third one, positive terminal of the battery is connected to N side and depletion region becomes thick. Fourth one, the positive terminal of the battery is connected to P side and depletion region becomes thin. So here, in forward bias, the positive terminal of the battery is connected to P side and negative terminal of the N side of PN junction. Forward bias voltage opposes the potential barrier. Due to this, the depletion region becomes thin. So for 34th one, this one is the right answer. Thirty-fifth one. So in the following figure, the diode which are forward biased are. So 4 diagrams they have given. When you observe 4 diagrams keenly, so here PN junction is said to be forward biased and P is at higher potential than N side. So it is for circuit A and C. Therefore, this one is the right answer. 36. Application of forward bias to a PN junction widens the depletion zone, increases the potential difference across the depletion zone, increases the number of donors on N side, decreases the electric field in the depletion zone they have given. So 36, this one is the right answer. 37. Of diode as shown in the diagram, which one is reverse bias? So C one is the right answer. 38. Reverse bias applied to a junction diode lowers the potential barrier, raises the potential barrier, increases the majority carrier current, increases the majority carrier minority carrier current. So when we observe 4 options, so in reverse bias, the conduction across the PN junction takes place due to minority carriers. Therefore, the size of depletion region rises. For 38th one, this one is the right one. 39. Barrier potential of PN junction diode does not depend on diode design, temperature, forward bias, doping density. So barrier potential depend upon temperature, doping density and forward biasing. Therefore, 8th one is the right one. 40th one. For a given circuit of PN junction diode, which one is correct? They have given options. In forward bias, voltage across R is V. In reverse bias, voltage across R is V. In forward bias, voltage across R is 2V. Fourth one, in reverse bias, voltage across R is 2V. They have given. So D1 is reverse bias and D2 is forward bias. So that is given by so here therefore for 41, 8 one is the right one. 41th, sorry, for 40th one, the reason is in forward biasing, resistance of PN junction diode is very low to the flow of current. So partially all the voltage will be dropped across the resistance. So that is voltage across R will be V. So in reverse biasing, resistance of PN junction diode is very high. So voltage drop across R is 0. Therefore for 41, 8 one is the right answer. 41th, the circuit current in the circuit will be, so here the diode D1 is reverse bias and diode D2 is, that is forward bias. So therefore, current is given by the formula I is equal to 5V divided by 30 plus of 20 ohm. That's equal to 5 by 50 ampere. So B one is the right one. From the 42th one, from the following diode circuit, which diode is forward bias condition? So for 42th one, a diode is said to be forward bias if P semiconductor of PN junction is positive terminal with respect to N-type semiconductor of PN junction. So it is so, the circuit 8th one is the right answer. In 43, in forward bias, width of the potential barrier in a PN junction diode is remains constant, decreases, increases. A and B they have given for 43. So in forward biasing, the conduction across PN junction takes place due to migration of minority carriers. So hence size of the depletion region decreases. So for 43, B one is the right answer. 44, in junction diode, holes are due to extra electrons, protons, neutrons, missing of electrons. So for 44th, D one is the right answer. 45th, the cause of potential barrier in a PN junction diode is depletion of negative charge near the junction, concentration of positive charges near the junction, depletion of positive charges near the junction, concentration of positive and negative charges near the junction. So D one is the right one. 46, a semiconductor device is connected in a series circuit with a battery and resistance. Current is found to pass through the circuit if the polarity of the battery is reversed. Current drops to almost zero. Device may be P-type semiconductor, intrinsic semiconductor, PN junction, N-type semiconductor. So on reversing polarity of the battery, the PN junction is reverse biased, result of which it is the resistance become high, current through the junction drop to zero. Therefore, for 46, the C one is the right answer.